Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. So I can now finally say for sure that Forza Horizon 4 will be coming to an end, and honestly, I am a little sad. Horizon 4 has by far been Playground Games' biggest and most successful game to date in terms of sale figures and the number of players online, but for me personally, despite how many bugs and glitches were present in this game, it's because of that very reason it has given me the opportunity to meet and interact with so many of you incredible subscribers, whether it's right here on YouTube, Xbox, Instagram and Twitter, which I'm extremely grateful for every single day. So Horizon 4 on many levels does hold a special place to me. Now, for long-time subscribers, you will know that for a couple of years now, we've been discovering bugs and glitches as a community, but dissecting the reasons as to why. I believe Horizon 4 was a rushed title, especially for those who have played any of the past Horizon games. When Horizon 4 first launched, it seemed as though this game was unpolished. Many things were missing from its predecessor, and I just hope for Forza Horizon 5 it doesn't suffer the same fate. So with that said, in today's video, we're going to take a look at 5 big signs that Forza Horizon 4 was an unfinished game. Number 1, car sounds. I think by now it's been well documented that Horizon 4's car sound were by far the worst in the Horizon series, and even possibly out of the entire Forza lineup. A lot of the cars use the same recycled sounds, like the Apollo IE launching with the exact same car audio as the LaFerrari, amongst many others. This became more apparent as Playground Games brought in new cars into the game. Not only that, with many cars from previous Horizon series sounding very decent, even the sounds of those vehicles all seemed to disappear, and the only thing we could pretty much hear were car audio that sounded way too computer generated, unclear, and most certainly inaccurate. With that said though, there are still a handful of cars out of the 700 plus cars in the game that sounded good. Cars such as the Audi R8, and even then that car sound was added in later in a sound patch. So what exactly happened, and why was this aspect of the game unfinished? Well, it turns out in Playground Games' latest Horizon 5 livestream that the developers went on to record car sounds in a different manner. In the past, car sounds were recorded from a dyno in a garage, and this method was quite efficient as all they needed to do was source a vehicle, strap it onto a dyno, and off they went. However, in Horizon 4, the sound engineers tried a new method which required the team to hire an entire airstrip, which made the logistics for recording much harder, as some vehicles they sourced were so far away that to find an airstrip that would meet between the developers and the owner were very difficult. And on top of that, on the day of recording, sometimes the weather could play an effect, and worst case scenario, even cancel their entire session. The reason why Playground Games use this method is because it gave the car a real sense of load while driving, therefore being able to capture a true tone of what the car sounds like. Now this all seems well and good, but it turns out in Forza Horizon 4, only 10 to 15% of this method actually ended up being implemented in the cars in the game. Who knows what they were using for the last 85 to 90% of the cars, but to ship a game with now the information that only a fraction of the car sounds were finished, it's certainly a disappointment. My question still remains, why didn't they just recycle the remaining car audios for the rest? Number 2, Edinburgh Walled Off. So this one has been a huge speculation for a while. In fact, we discovered this right here on my channel a while back, but if you drive just on the outskirts of Edinburgh, you will see what seems to be an area that looks like it's drivable, just to be blocked off by a very low, impenetrable wall. It seems to have been added without much thought at all, and only for the sole purpose to stop us from driving on it. I've never seen any cities from past Horizon titles that have been walled off like this, and as you continue to drive along this road, you will see more walls like this blocking off certain roads and driveways that could potentially lead to more exploration. Not only that, if you view the Horizon 4's map from the start menu, that walled off area looks to have a lot of real estate that's been rendered only to be left unused. I'm actually quite convinced, considering that Playground Games didn't even bother polishing that part of the map to make it somewhat in tune with the rest of the city and left it exposed for us to blatantly discover. It was meant to be included in the final map, but was left abandoned after a certain deadline. However, thanks to Super 7 and the near limitless ability to go anywhere around the entire map, you can very well explore this area and see what it could have offered. What do you guys think? Number 3, barn finds. So one of the reasons why I'm making this video is because in one of the comments of my previous videos, someone wrote down that he doesn't believe that the end of Forza Horizon 4 is here, and he is convinced that new cars would still be arriving, as there are a handful of barn finds scattered across the map, modeled exactly the same as an actual barn find, only to not be recognized by the game. Now again, on this channel we discovered around 5 barn finds across the entire Horizon 4 map that actually doesn't hold any vehicles at all, and unfortunately there won't be any. Playground Games have already stated that no more new cars will be arriving into the game, and that from update 38 onwards, which will begin next month, the game will be receiving festival playlist updates that would feature cars from previous playlists. So what I'm wondering, and I'm sure many of you guys are too, what happened to these barn finds? Did Playground Games plan to have more old school cars in the game, but just couldn't gain the license for them? Or did Playground Games randomly place a lot of barnyards across the map during the development phase of the game, and through the process of elimination removed the ones that they thought weren't in the best location, however forgot to remove the 5 extra? I don't have an exact answer for you, but I do believe more cars were planned to be brought in, either at launch or post-launch, as remember, in Forza Horizon 3 they did have post-launch barn finds, but I think for Horizon 4 it just ended up being scrapped. Number 4, layout of tents in the festival. This one was discovered by a fellow subscriber known as Adrian Sidler 3 on Twitter, so first off, a huge shout out, and I can't believe no one ever really noticed this. But if you look right here on the map, you can see a bunch of Horizon tents near the main Horizon Festival site. Now you can argue that these 2D map renders aren't exactly a proper representation of the actual 3D world, which to your point is true in most circumstances. I mean, look at the Lego map in regards to the real world. The scale is all completely wrong if it was supposed to be a real representation. But this finding is a little more unique, because if you go and look at this area in free roam, you can see the grass patch being discolored due to the supposed cars using that area as parking space. There's even a gate here too. Now I tried looking around the festival site with similar layouts to see if there may be more areas like this, then maybe it's a possibility it's been left as an effect. But it looks like everything else that was rendered in the 2D map was also included in the main world, except for this part here. Would it felt a little more lively? Maybe it wouldn't have made any difference at all, but certainly an interesting find, and I guess we can only speculate from this point onwards about this area whether the game was unfinished. And lastly, number 5, Trickled-In Features. So with modern gaming, one of the biggest advantages developers have, and it's something I'm not a huge fan of, is being able to release a game and then fix it up with patches later through online updates. When I was a kid back in the early 2000s, developers didn't have that luxury, meaning that what they put out had to be good, otherwise their game would have been stuffed. But now, and I think Playground Games for Horizon 4 was also a victim of this, that the game came out with so many features missing from previous Horizon titles. Beloved features like single class rival challenges weren't even in the game, instead was replaced by forced setups and limitations to challenge the leaderboard. Now thankfully that was added in much later during the life of Horizon 4, but I can't understand why things like that were omitted from launch. Creator Route was also a feature that shipped a couple months after launch, and even had the also familiar coming soon placed on the widget. But I'm sure there were more features that were trickled in back into Horizon 4. I'm just hoping for Horizon 5 they don't make the same mistake. They know what features we love or use the most, they have all the data for it, and the ones we play the most, just keep them in. Now, because of all this, was Horizon 4 a result of being unfinished, or was it poor planning during the development stage? What do you guys think? I would love to hear your opinions. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video or find it somewhat interesting, make sure to smash the thumbs up button, as that would really help me out. And lastly, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 5 news and possible early content, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.